So the master class is being recorded as usual, and my name is Dr. Sami Abdel Jalil, and this is EA300B. And what is it that we're doing? We're doing a number of revision classes. I think I forgot. When is the final exam? Tell me the date, the day, and the hour.
11th of March, May,
Oh.
at 12.
Okay, May 11th at 12 p.m. Nice. Okay, I think I spoke enough about our expectations as teachers, a team of 3 teachers. This is, the people who teach the course, it's me, the tutor and coordinator. We also have Dr. Mohsen, tutor, and we also have Dr. Aro. And our expectations are the same because they are inspired by, that's fine. They are all inspired by the guidelines that we have on the course when it comes to how people approach quizzes and midterms and finals. Again, stressing the need for comprehensiveness, stressing the need for clarity and relevance. Spoke long and enough about them. And again, it's not about saying them as much as it is about implementing those tenets or principles in exams. We have seen you trying very hard, and you did succeed in the MTA and also in Quiz 2. Quiz 2 is nice. Judging from the number of papers that I went through and I marked, you guys did a good job. But perhaps we're expecting more, inshallah, or perhaps higher standard. Okay. I spoke in my regular class about the number of questions, and I also spoke about the format. It doesn't change much. We cover everything in the final exam. We don't kind of omit or leave anything out because people are under the impression that if they leave something, and they kind of play on this idea of what is optional and what is obligatory and how they can skip preparing part or studying part. And this is a strategy that is legitimate, of course, but I wouldn't recommend it because you guys have invested heavily in the course in terms of the time you spent, whether attending classes or reading. It's only one small leg. I know it can get very, kind of tiring. It has been a long semester and it has been a long program. You've been doing this for the past 4 years because you're graduating, خلاص. That's a very small, step that can take you to graduation. Don't deny yourself the possibility of getting as getting the highest mark possible. But this is not going to happen if you are gambling, and I think leaving out a part is sort of gambling that I wouldn't recommend. So again, I keep comparing this course to other courses, EA300A, where they have hundreds of poems, for example. A230A and A230B, lots of things. I think you have, and you still want to take advantage of the fact that the course is not that big. So 4 works is no big deal, whether we're talking about them as primary sources or as secondary sources. So as far as the format is and the number of questions, are concerned, you normally have two parts. You have part A or part one, where you have short answers. And normally you have three and you answer two. And again, it's half a page that I normally expect from my good students. If it's less, it will be very difficult for you to cover all the aspects of the questions, thus or hence defeating this aspect that I refer to in your answer as comprehensiveness. So make sure you write, make sure you write. I mean, don't give me a small paragraph and you say this is all to it. No, there is obviously more to a short answer than just a small paragraph. Half a page would be fine. If you have more, but you are comprehensive, if you have more and you're compact and you know what you're writing about, if you have more, but you're not irrelevant, that's fine. Right. But don't give me a long essay in a short answer part. So this is obviously the first part. Like I said, short answers, and short does not mean that you write a paragraph, a small paragraph, or even a paragraph. You need to write more than that. Again, keeping in mind that you have to be comprehensive, you have to be clear, and you have to be relevant. And then we'll move to the second part of the exam, which is the long essay part, where you normally write essays. We're talking about 300 and perhaps more words. Again, even if you choose the close reading part, you need to turn it into a full-fledged essay. A close reading. Where do we have the close reading question? It is in the long essay part. Okay, so writing a paragraph about it is obviously not accepted. Where is it geographically on the exam page? It is in the long answer part. Make no mistake about it. So if you approach a close reading, it's not a paragraph or two paragraphs that you will write. You will write a whole essay, and your point of departure would be understanding the close reading part, whether it is a passage taken from one of the two novels or a picture. Okay. And this is what I keep saying. I keep saying that when you have a close reading, this is a disguised prompt. It's like having a prompt, a statement that triggers thoughts and ideas, and you turn the thoughts and the ideas into an essay. So also in the close reading part, whether it's an image or a reading passage taken from one of the novels, this is um, a prompt, but it is prolonged. It's a very detailed kind of prompt. That's why you need to, when you read the passage, you need to underline the key ideas and the key themes. You need to put them together and come up with a coherent thought, and then turn this thought into a nice and a decent essay that makes sense, that is comprehensive, that is clear, that is relevant. Normally you have three, you have three questions in the long essay part, and you are supposed to answer two of them. So two long essays, I mean, in this part. And then you have two short answers. So the total would be four, questions, and they vary in their length and level of depth. So this is how it should look on the page. Again, at this point in time, saying that when you are on the exam day, and even when you start the exam and you find a question, um, um, يعني, that you perhaps find difficult, and you kind of say, no, this is difficult. I don't know. No, that should be out of the question because, like I said earlier, you have invested heavily in the course, you know. But just give yourself the opportunity to kind of think, and you can kind of brainstorm even on the page, and you will come up with ideas. No wrong or even right answers in literature, right? What you think is correct, and make sure it is coherent and it is relevant and it is comprehensive. This is what we need. No two answers are the same, as you know. Can be answering the same question, but you have different approaches, different um, levels of understanding. So I'm forewarning people from now. I mean, the idea that they don't know shouldn't be there, because you guys know. You know more than you think, you know. Like, this is as far as this procedural part about the final exam is concerned. Would you like to come to the mic and share thoughts, concerns that I should address, fears that I should dismiss? Come to the mic and tell us about them, if any. No concerns? Yeah, go ahead, Joyce.
Yeah, doctor. Sorry for asking this question again, but some girls are asking about it also. Concerning the final, there is going to be a compulsory question, right? Like, especially the close reading one.
Um, yeah, it happened last semester, where in the long answer part, you have two parts. You have two subparts. Um, in the first part of this long answer part, you have two questions and you have to answer one of them. And then another question in the second part of the long answer. You getting me? So, which means that in the long answer part, you have three questions and you have to choose. So you have three questions. One, I don't know how to explain this. Perhaps I'm complicating it. Um, so again, we're talking about the long answer part, the second part of it. Okay, what makes it compulsory is that this long answer part is divided into two sections. One section has two questions, and you have to choose one of them, and then a question in the other section, or perhaps two, and it's your choice, which makes it more compulsory. I think a better way of doing it would be that I bring in, I think I have a sample, but not handy right now. If somebody can remind me next time, whether we are in the regular class or I'll give you, I'll show you the exam and what I, but there is going to be a compulsory part, and it doesn't have to be uh, the close reading part. Again, if you're not sure of how um, you can handle close reading questions and they are not obligatory, don't try them. But if they are obligatory, you have to do them, right? And I told you the specifics as how you can approach them. Again, you deal with them as if they are long prompts or disguised prompts. You study them very well. You make like a scheme for them, and then you turn them into a coherent essay. Long and I'm sorry, close readings are exactly like prompts. They are no different. Sometimes they are even easier because we tell you in the this kind of questions, like close reading questions, what is it that we want, and you can make the close reading question work for you by by using the extract by using illustrations and extracts from the close reading itself. See, that can help. But again, if you have bad experiences with close readings from previous semesters, I mean, approach it. If you have to approach it like it is a long prompt. Again, remind me, Joyce, and next time I can bring a sample exam and I can show you what I mean, inshallah.
Inshallah, doctor. Thank you.
Any other questions? I mean, procedural question about the MTA in terms of format, in terms of content. Okay, right. So let me ask, how many of us are from other classes? I mean, classes that I don't teach. Yeah, Serene is from another class. I think Serene was or is with Dr. Mohsen. Arish, I don't know with whom. And Nuran. Hmm. Arish and Nuran. Okay, and drop your hands. Arish and Nuran, do you belong to the same class? Dr. Mohsen, Dr. Arwa, or what?
I am with the Dr. Arwa class.
Nice. Hmm. Okay. Have you taken your marks, I mean, quiz 2 marks, or not yet?
Not yet, doctor.
Not yet. Yeah, probably today or early next week. Still had um, there was a makeup, and obviously teachers are busy with lots of things. Hopefully, inshallah, you'll get them. Check your SIS today and on Sunday, inshallah. Okay. So let's start our series of uh, revision classes. And we're going to start. Last time in my regular class, I started talking about the two picture books. And in order, I don't want to kind of bother or bore people who attend my regular classes. But I'm going to change the strategy and I'm going to start with one of the novels, and it's not going to be Tom's Midnight Garden because we have done enough and we'll come to it later in the revision. And it's not going to be the picture books because we have already done that and we'll come back to them. We'll go all the way to the other side of truth. The other side of truth will feature prominently on the final exam, of course, along with Tom's Midnight God. Let's unpack the novel, and I would like us to, I would like the session today or this morning to be bi-directional. I would like you to also come and give me input. I have done enough talking already, but I would like to listen about what you have to say about your perspectives. And so let's first of all agree on um, two things. Whenever we talk about a piece of work, we talk about its formal aspects, formal from the word form, which means we're talking about the techniques and the style, the format of the work, and its thematic aspects. So it's form that we address at one point, and it's the theme or themes and the topics, the ideas and the issues and the ideologies uh, that the novel or the picture book revolves around. Make no mistake about it. Every novel or picture book has an idea or a theme or a topic or a message that the writer is trying to get across to us. Okay, so it's the other side of truth that we're starting with, and I would like us to talk about its formal aspects. And by form, of course, because it's a novel, we talk about its different elements, we talk about characters, we talk about setting, we talk about point of view, um, and then we move to the themes and the ideas later. So its formal aspects. Again, you need to set it against the literature. When it comes to writing novels, you need to see whether it is a regular, traditional kind of novel where you have linear narrative, where you have straightforward characters, you have points of development, you have a conflict, and then you have a resolution at the end. This is what we mean by a traditional novel. So you need to always set the novel, if it's a novel, or the picture book against the traditions and see whether it conforms, it sticks to the traditions, follows them, or deviates from them. Okay. And then we'll move to the themes and the ideas. Okay. So let's talk about the other side of truth. Let's talk about its formal aspects, characters, setting, point of view. I mean, by point of view, we talk about the narrative, whether it's first person or third person. Um, Plot, of course, whether it's also linear or uh, non-linear. So what do we have to say? I'll give you perhaps a couple of minutes to um, generate as many ideas as you possibly can about the other side of truth. If you have a notepad handy or something, you can scribble ideas. And let's focus on the the formal aspects of the novel. Yalla, I'll give you a couple of minutes. For those who just joined, we're discussing the other side of truth. This is a revision class. We're preparing for the final exam. We're starting with the other side of truth. What is what people are now engaged in thoughts, uh, thought or thoughts in generating. I mean, um, about the formal aspects of the novel. Again, characters, setting, point of view, plot. So I would like people to come to the mic and share what they have generated. These are the formal aspects. We are now stressing the form, the techniques, the narrative structure, and we're setting it against the traditions, whether the novel in its techniques and forms follows traditions or deviates from them. Yalla, Joyce, go ahead.
Okay, Doctor. We can say that The Other Side of Truth is a socio-political novel that follows a linear narrative structure, especially unfolding chronologically from the beginning of the novel when they assassinated Shadi and Femi's mom in Nigeria to their reunion with their father in London. Um, Concerning the events, they were presented in a very clear way, in a very traditional way, for clarity, especially for the younger readers. Concerning the setting, there's a shift between Nigeria and London. Concerning the characters, we have the main characters who are the girl and the boy, Shadi and Femi, and their father, their uncle, and of course other minor characters whom they met on the way on in London. There are also external and internal conflicts. External when it comes to the political oppression, especially in Nigeria, the problems with the immigration on the way and in London. Of course, the internal conflict is about especially the kids who struggle between telling the truth or stay silent to protect themselves and their father. So far, this is what is said.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah, this is awesome. Go on if you have more.
Concerning the point of view, it's written from the third person, but has a focalization aspect, especially through Shadi's perspectives. Like mainly, it focuses on the girl's point of view and how she felt, how and her thoughts during every stage in the novel. I think this is enough for
Yeah,
now. Thank
yeah,
you, Doctor.
very good. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So other people wanting to share with us what they know, uh, what they perceive when it comes to the formal aspects of the novel. Those who have just joined, we are talking about the other side of truth, its formal aspects, and how far it deviates from traditional traditional novel writing, or perhaps it conforms to them. This is what we are addressing and talking about before we move to the thematic aspects, talking about its different ideas and themes and issues. So if you have more, if you would like to come to the mic and share what you know about the formal aspects of the other side of truth, including the title, if you would like to unpack the title and tell us what um, it foreshadows. Wake up, everyone. I know it's 9 something in the morning. Yeah, go ahead, Yamani.
Hello, doctor.
Yeah,
Hello,
hi, how are
doctor.
you? I'm
You hear
sorry.
me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Yes, and also the novel discussed the role for the media, how didn't the corrupt country use the
This is
media in their
actually,
role.
we'll keep this until we are done with the formal aspects, with the techniques and the narrative structure. If we're done with that, we can move. Do you have more to say about the formal aspects of the novel, yeah, Munira?
No, I think, mashallah, Joyce, she said everything.
Nice. Right, I'll come back to you to talk about the themes and the issues. And one of them, of course, is media and its importance and everything. We'll come back to that when we are done with the formal aspects. Anybody else for the formal aspects of the novel, guys? Do you agree with what Joyce said about the form of the novel being traditional, linearity, the fact that it's linear, the fact that it's a normal third person kind of narrative with I mean like a focus on, of course, shade, using the technique of focalization, where you see things from the perspective of this character. Um, okay. Right, let's move now to the themes and the ideas and the ideologies that the novel kind of addresses and is about. And I'll give you perhaps one more minute to think of the themes and the ideas that we have spoken about, and come to the mic and share them. You guys have a minute to think about these things. Now we're moving from the form to the theme, and the themes from the how to the what.
Doctor, I have a
Yeah.
question, please. Are we going to discuss right now, is it traditional or postmodern, or once we're done with the themes?
Um, it is, of course, if it was published and written in 2000, it should be postmodern. But is it postmodern in its form? The answer
No,
is no, right?
no, yeah, it's like
But it
semi
is,
postmodern.
yes, yeah. I wouldn't call it postmodern at all. It is postmodern in its themes and ideas. When we talk about immigration, when we
Yes,
talk about caring about children, because these were ideas that nobody thought about in the past. I mean, with the advancement in everything now, people are very careful about the psychology of their children, the traumatic impacts that wars and other conflicts can have on those children, and how children are normally caught in the crossfire between and among uh, uh, adults. In our case, for example, you have this conflict between the government and the parents of Chad and Femi, and how they are caught uh, in the grips and in the crossfire between the two. Of course, one side is on the right, and the other side is, of course, wrong and everything, but children are children. They shouldn't be held hostage to those kinds of conflicts, at least at this early stage of their life and development. We'll come to that in a minute, yeah, Joyce, inshallah, I promise you. Again, I'm
thank you,
giving you
Doctor.
a minute. You're welcome. I'm giving you a minute to think of the themes and the ideas that the novel addresses. You have a minute. Okay. So themes and ideas when it comes to the other side of truth. Mm.
Yeah, doctor.
Yeah. Go ahead, you know.
In the other side of truth, truth telling is a key theme, especially as Shady struggles with whether to speak out about her father's political work, or about her mother's death, or identity. The novel shows that telling the truth can be very dangerous, especially in a society where speaking up could lead to punishment or harm. Shade faces the choice of staying silent or to stay safe, or speaking the truth, which might make things worse. At first, silence seems like a way to protect herself, but it also makes her feel isolated and trapped. In the end, Shady decides to tell the truth, which helps her to grow stronger and find her voice. The novel makes it clear that telling truth isn't always easy, but it can come with big risks, but it can also be an act of bravery and resistance against unfairness.
Yeah, that's true. Was she helped in any way? In order for her to decide to go ahead and tell the truth, did any one or organization help with that?
Yeah, by fosters,
Mm.
by the foster family, yeah.
And yeah, and also remember this. She went on TV, and obviously, you can have news outlets, you can have media outlet, but they can also be biased against people, and they can work for the government. They wouldn't allow you to kind of tell the truth. It's she was also lucky that she had um, what's this guy's name? 7-Eleven, I think.
Mr. 7 o'clock, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, Noor. If you have more, go ahead. If not, thank you so much for this.
Thank you, doctor.
You're welcome. So again, for just those who just joined us, we're talking about the other side of truth. This is a number of revision classes that we're starting today, and we're talking about the other side of truth, its formal aspects. We have already covered the formal aspects, and now we're talking about the themes and the ideas that the novel is about. Noor has just mentioned the idea of truth telling and whether people should be kind of uncompromising about truth telling, telling the truth no matter how or what, or they should play it safe and perhaps maneuver and perhaps choose the right time or not tell the truth. This is one of the themes that the novel grapples with. And again, what makes it even more stressful is that it's children that are being caught in this crossfire because children are normally raised and born into um, moral absolutism where their parents, even if their parents are liars themselves, they keep telling their kids not to kind of hide behind falsehoods, and they should tell the truth and be honest. Again, when children go outside and they handle and deal with the realities of the real world, sometimes there are situations where telling the truth can be very dangerous, and it can you can run into trouble. So people would, or children would start to ask whether I'm prepared for this. Am I prepared to risk my life for the truth? Or should I keep to what my parents used to tell me about, you know, absolute truth telling. So these are the moral dilemmas that people are normally in, and if it's even worth when children are involved. Yeah, this is a very interesting issue, and I that more raised. So let's talk about other aspects. If you would like to come and share more about truth telling, and because there is obviously more to it, again, because it's so big, there is more to talk about when it comes to truth telling. I think Munira wanted to say something about that, and I stopped her because the focus was on the formal aspects. Munira, would you like to come and share?
Yes, I was talking about the role for media, how the corrupt countries can be misleading the people
Yeah,
by
because
spreading fake.
part of the argument again is media is about truth telling, right? Which is
Yes,
going to be a part of the argument, yes. So
yes,
what rules do we have for media? What rules what do they do? The
they
traditional
are.
roles of media that we associate media with. Any idea?
This one, she exposed what them in order to help her father, and also
No,
she
no, no,
learned
no.
from his.
And I'm asking a generic question, and it's up for grabs. Anyone can answer it. Let's talk
Okay.
about the media and its role. Okay, we are all media consumers, if you like. So media does what? What kind of roles do you guys associate media with? Is it about telling the news and full stop? Does it educate us? Does it help us, you know, speak our minds? Does it expose corruption? So obviously it does all of that, right? Okay, yeah, Munira, go on. You were saying something. You were implementing. You were talking about the different roles of media as applied to the novel, right?
Yes, and how can people can use this one in guiding the public, guiding the people, giving different ideas.
Okay. So now tell us about media in the novel. How did you see media in the novel? How
Yes, they.
its different roles were reflected in the novel? Because this is obviously was what you wanted to say.
Yes, because they are showing in the novel this one two kind of media. How can media can use or in both direction, in the wrong way and also in the right way. How it can serve what the name the people with power, just like the corrupt government in Nigeria, to serve them
Mhm.
purpose. Yes, and also how the media help this one to focus on refugees and how they are suffering to the other public in London.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Can we have other people talk about the different aspects? I mean, the different thematic aspects of the novel. I would like to see more people. We have Noor contributing input. We have Joyce contributing. We have Munira. I would like to see other people, and I would like to hear other people's voices. Yeah, come to the mic. We're not taxing. We're not giving. We're not distracting or kind of discounting marks. Yeah, Joyce, go ahead.
Yeah, doctor. Also, the struggles, like telling the truth, and the media themes are related also to the struggles of the journalists, especially in an oppressive country like Nigeria, especially when the government was corrupted. Okay, so this was portrayed through, of course, the experience of the father, Shadi's father. He is a journalist who became the target of the government, especially when he exposed the corruption of the Nigerian government. Of course, freedom of speech isn't an option there. If you talk against the government, you're going to be targeted. They were supposed to kill him, but they killed his wife instead. And he tried to send his kids away to save them. And also, he was targeted after that. They blamed him for killing his wife. So they just didn't just ruin the whole family, but they tried to ruin his reputation, saying that he is the one who killed his own wife, which pushed him actually to try to escape the country. And this, of course, shows how journalists worldwide struggle with telling the truth. Some of them get killed, some of them get arrested, some of them get their reputation ruined. So the novel also highlight this global issue with journalism. That's in
Yeah.
Nigeria. Yeah, but also when it comes to the role of media, especially in London, they're being selective about it. They only focus on the topics that the public would enjoy, especially like what happened with Shade and the stuff. They had immigrants since ages, and they have the refugees there since ages. Why no one spoke about it? Only when the little girl went and spoke about it, they got interested in the idea.
You mean they don't make the effort? I mean, it
Yes,
has to
exactly.
be, yeah. It's and whether it's the case is newsworthy or not. Is it going to
Definitely, yes.
attract
The
viewers?
audience,
And yeah,
yes.
yes, yeah, that's interesting. These are very interesting ideas. Yeah, again, it's they all can be tied together when it comes to media and its different roles and how this is seen and applied in the novel. And you can always talk about the media, and all you can also talk about truth telling and moral absolutism and moral ambiguity. Again, when it comes to children, and because they are very fragile, they don't have much experience, they are very pure, they don't know what is happening in the real world. So this is where the trauma and the shock uh, comes from. Yeah, that's interesting. So, what other themes and ideas did we address when we spoke about the other side of truth? Hmm. What do you think of the significance of the setting? Of course, setting means time and place. Let's perhaps focus on the place. Do we have a shift in setting? I remember back in the day when I was teaching EA300B, and still doing that. Remember when we had this shift from Venice and Othello to Cyprus, and how we're talking about two totally different places or cities and what that meant, and it's the same here, I think, where you also have two different places, two different countries. Then we're talking about Nigeria, and then the movement was to London and to England, or in Great Britain in general. And how different was the experience? Was it any better? I mean, moving there. So can we talk about the shift in place and how significant this is? The good and the bad and even the ugly. I'm giving you a theme. Can you elaborate on, can you expand on this idea of geography in the novel and whether geography matters or not? Does geography matter in the novel? Is Nigeria like Great Britain in the novel? How did the novel start? It started in Nigeria. Remember what happened? And how did it end? Of course, it ended in Britain. It was a happy ending at the end in um, whatever it was, London, I think. It was a sad and sorrowful beginning in Nigeria. So obviously, geography matters, and I need somebody to come to the mic and elaborate. Yeah, Munira, go ahead.
Yes, the novel starts with the name, the setting in Nigeria, starting with the tragic of the death of the mother. Then this one, they decide this one to travel seeking for safety in London. But they faces another problem about the
Mm,
refugees. Yes, this one they didn't suspect because they think about London, that's something big, the place for freedom. Then this one, they face the real problem there when they face different kind of bullying, and racism there.
yeah. So the shift is, um, you're perhaps, Munira, focusing on the bad side of things, even in Great Britain when they went there. But things had to get worse before they get better, right? Like they say. So did it change? Did it become any better in Great Britain afterwards?
No, later on, but
No.
after this one she took, this one they finally gather with them father. Yes, this
Yeah,
one the happy ending, this one in the end. Yes,
this is good
and he
news, and
expert.
it happened in Britain, not in Nigeria,
Yes,
right? And it
yes,
happened with the help of
the
some
media.
English
But
people, right, and the media, right?
yes,
So we cannot obviously equate Britain with Nigeria, obviously. It is true that we have our own reservations about how the kids were treated and how they they were cheated and how they were bullied and everything. But that didn't last forever, right? But it could have lasted forever if they were in Nigeria, right? Because it's the same thing. The Nigeria of 30 years ago or 40 years ago is the Nigeria is still the name. I mean, obviously there is no marked difference. But when it comes to England, I'm not, and I'm not also a fan of the English or the British. If people know, people who know me know that. But I'm saying that obviously life is relatively better in England, or has been relatively better for Shade and her brother. Again, with the help of the media and other institutions. Again, when you talk about the two places, obviously you talk about the level of freedom in each country, especially when you talk about freedom of expression, whether you can be a fearless reporter in a place like Nigeria. And obviously, the answer is no. Fearless journalism and fearless reporting in Nigeria can cost you your life. And this is exactly what happened with the family. The fact that the wife or the mother was collateral damage. It is true that the government has a problem with the journalist, the male, the father, but who paid the price? It was the mother at one point, and then later the children, because the children had to flee the country for their life. So again, when we talk about places, we talk about their significance. Again, Nigeria and England, the level of freedom of speech, the level of corruption, whether there is accountability. Of course, there is accountability in Britain, but obviously it's accountability is not a priority, obviously, and transparency and judicial transparency and how the people can be held accountable for their actions and how they can be protected by the judiciary and who is having the louder voice. Is it the executive branch of the government or the judiciary? And these are questions that you need to ask yourself when we talk about places and their significance, especially in the 21st century, where obviously we are feeding and the heavy hand of governments. So this is as far as places and their significance are
Doctor,
concerned.
can I add?
Unless, please add, yes.
About also the education between the two countries, because
Mm,
in Nigeria they are aware about the reality about the other countries' work beside the places, but in England they don't know about Africa because they think this one Africa it's the one
mm,
country. That's why they starting asking if they are speaking African or no, for said and
mm.
Bami.
Yeah. I don't know whether it was in this novel. Those who have read the novel recently, I have read it long back. Was this mentioned? And am I confusing novels here? There was this idea that the boys in school and the school or the students, the British students, they didn't know whether where obviously Nigeria is or where Africa is, right? And they thought that Africa is a country. Am I confusing novels? Perhaps I read that somewhere else. Those who have read the novel recently. Okay, I'll check that myself. Again, there is this idea that, British education, as given in the novel, did not prepare white students, to know about the world, to move beyond their immediate surroundings, to move beyond their privilege. They are very privileged kinds of societies where they don't normally know or care about the other parts of the world. So, what Naidu was trying to do is that she was trying to educate those young readers. She was trying to tell them that they need to go out of the bubble that their society created for them. There is more to life than just the privileges that they enjoy, whether it's healthcare, education, food. There are other places in the world where people don't have, or children like them, don't have access to education, to fresh water, food, and so this is one of the aims that uh, uh, that the novel or that Naidu wanted to say. So it's you don't only delight or you don't only entertain as a novelist, you also educate, you change, you also instruct. Yeah. Joyce, can you come to the mic and highlight this aspect or this part? Okay, that's fine. Again, Joyce is, yeah, that's fine. Ah, you mean I have to unmute you? You're muted, and I don't know. That's fine. I thought I'm muting you. Okay. So again, we're talking about the significance of places, and with the significance of places comes the idea of where the author stands, what is her agenda. And obviously, she did not want to only delight or entertain, she wanted to also educate her young readers, especially the white among them. She wanted to tell them that life is bigger than England. She wanted to tell them that they have to think and empathize with other children in other parts of the world, to go uh, out of their comfort zones, to uh, um, to feel empathetic towards other countries and other continents, because life is bigger than England and Great Britain, obviously. Yeah, what else? Themes and ideas? Also, the idea of immigration, obviously. Yes, that's true. Yeah, immigration, and of course, immigration is perhaps a postmodern or a modern phenomenon. Of course, the people have been migrating from one country to another, from one continent to another. Uh, the world wouldn't or couldn't have been populated had it not been for the first Africans. I think this was like 50,000 years ago. The first man or the first immigrant was an African man, and perhaps an African family moving all the way to Arabia, and from it to other parts of the world, to India, to Europe. So had it not been for immigration, we wouldn't have the different continents that we now have. We wouldn't have, populated places um, across the world. So immigration has always been there, but I'm talking about the intensity of immigration nowadays, and also the reasons. When the first African left Africa to other parts of the world, it was for perhaps better living conditions. Um, Perhaps it was for better food, um, for better things. But obviously, immigration now is due to conflicts, civil wars, occupation, and colonization. So it's sad. So that would make it a postmodern phenomenon. Again, the children are migrating or moving from Nigeria, where there is kind of corruption, where there is no government transparency, no accountability of any sort, and they are moving to the first world, to Europe, where obviously there is in a kind of transparency, freedom of expression, better living conditions, and all those kinds. So this is one of the themes and the ideas that the novel grapples with, and also the idea of child agency. This is very important. Children, through no fault of their own, are kind of subjected to all kinds of bad treatment. They are accidentally born into war-torn countries. They are accidentally born into, dictatorships. They are accidentally born into poor country where they don't have access to food or water, or even education. And sometimes they have to take matters into their own hands. Sometimes they have to fend for themselves. Uh, um, and this is agency when you have to take decisions, when you have to stand out and say is enough and I'll do stuff on my own. This is called agency. And when we talk about agency, we talk about women agency at one point, children or child agency. We talk about, giving agency to the poor. So the focus in this novel is on child agency, how children are subjected to all kinds of bad treatment, whether back home in Nigeria or in England, and they have to fend for themselves. They have to uh, um, leave behind the comfort of childhood, uh, the carefree kind of life that children should have, and they have to take decisions and they have to be economical with the truth. Sometimes they have to take their case and their cause to the media and talk about what issues and problems they have with immigration. Obviously, these are things that we normally leave for adults, for the parents to do. So, children in the novel are exercising this kind of agency, and obviously they didn't choose. If they were given the choice, they wouldn't have decided to go out and talk and be outspoken and vocal about the issues they have. They would have left that to their parents. But where are the parents? One of them is uh, um, fleeing persecution. One of them is hiding because of issues. If he is caught up, he's going to be deported to Nigeria and he will be hanged or killed. And their mother has already been assassinated or had been already assassinated, as you have seen. So again, they had no choice. They had to kind of go out of their way and start to defend themselves, protect themselves, and fend for themselves, exploring all the possibilities and talking to this and that, lying here sometimes and telling the truth here or there some other times. So this is child agency, and it is very well expressed in the novel. Yeah, somebody wanted to say something. Come to the mic. Yeah. So again, child agency is big, is there, featuring very prominently in the novel, and you need to define what child agency is. You need to define what agency is, first of all. When you have authority, when you make your own authority, you become authority in changing reality. Again, and then you have different types of agency. You can have women agency, giving agency to the poor, and you have child agency. Again, the agency that we're talking about and addressing here is child agency, where children were caught in the grips of uh, um, a dangerous kind of life, fleeing their country, Nigeria, because if they stayed, they could have been collateral damage like their mother, and they could have been killed. So they go to England or to Britain under the impression that life there is going to be honey and milk, which it wasn't. So they have to see and go through all the kinds of hurdles and challenges and problems and traumas until life gets better. And it's through them, through their agency, that life becomes better, where they explore all the possibilities, they talk to all kinds of people, um, and they finally make it, and they emerge triumphant, and they get reunited with their father. Yeah, Noor, go ahead.
Yeah, doctor, I just wanted to tell you that Joyce wrote something in the chat, and I have a
Okay.
question too.
Yeah, read what she wrote and then give us your question.
Okay. She wrote that Shady and Femi are silenced by fear, trauma, and the control of adults around them. In Nigeria, their father's dangerous journalism means they must keep secrets to stay safe. After their mother's death, they are told not to speak of it, and during their journey to the UK, they are warned to lie and stay quiet. Even in England, their voices are ignored by authorities who see them only as nameless refugee children, not as individuals with a story. As the story progresses, Shade and Fame's agency grows stronger. Shade moves from silence to bravery when she decides to tell the truth about her father's work, even though it could put them at risk. This act shows that she is no longer just a passive child, but someone who takes control of her voice and choices. Femi, though quieter, supports his sister and begins to regain confidence. Together, they stop being just victims of their situations and start shaping their own future.
Yes, very good. Very well said. Thank you. Okay, you have a question, Noor. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, are we expecting a kind of question, not about the themes, about the novel in general, whether it should be exposed to children or no?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Can you rephrase it?
Yeah, I
And,
mean, asking such a question if the novel of The Other Side of Truth by Niado should be exposed to children because it has the themes of violence or ugly reality. Are we expecting a kind of question?
you mean this can be a possible question?
Yeah,
Yeah. Child agency is a possible question that comes, in the last perhaps 5 to 5 years. We have seen it repeated, but this is not a promise that I don't set the exam myself. I don't write it. So, but I have seen it. It comes in different manifestations and forms, whether in the midterm or the final.
okay.
Yeah, it's a possible question. Yes, yes.
طيب, shall we discuss the definition of agency, then mention the types of agency, يعني the poor and the children, if we have any question about agency?
And then you move to the focus. The focus is obviously on children or child agency, and then you define what child agency is from the novel, and then you give examples and elaborate. Yes, that's true. But again, you need to define what agency means and what if you have agency, uh, what its different manifestations are, uh, how it is expressed and seen. Yes. Okay. Questions. Themes. If you guys have other topics and themes when it comes to the other side of truth, we have already spoken about truth telling and how truth telling is obviously good and absolute, but there are situations where people have to be um, less uncompromising with the truth. And again, we also, when we spoke about truth telling, we spoke about children and how uh, our parents raise the bar too high with you have to be absolute about truth telling. No matter what, you have to tell the truth. Under no circumstances are we allowed to tell lies. Again, this is good and beautiful, but sometimes there are situations where you have to kind of calculate where are you headed with truth telling. If it sometimes you have to be strategic about telling the truth. If if telling the truth is going to have you killed, and you think if you delay it, if you deflect for a while, that can secure your life, and also you can, under better circumstances, you can tell the truth. You need to be very smart and not tell the truth at that moment. Again, these are questions that adults grapple with, let alone children. So children are normally um, are not normally subjected to those kinds of challenges and questions at um, very early age. But in the novel, it's a totally different story. I mean, children in the novel are tested with that. At a very young age, they have to choose between their father's safety and telling uh, the truth. If they tell the truth, the identity of their father will be revealed, and he is likely to be kind of deported back home where he may be killed. Again, the choice was, and this was made by Shade, and the choice was that she would be economical with it. She wouldn't tell it, or perhaps all of it. Perhaps she can tell half of it. Uh, Perhaps she has to choose certain people to reveal the truth to, not everyone. So these are questions and challenges that she shouldn't be meeting very early on in her life. Again, she did go through the experience. She did choose not to say everything, and this is again child agency, because she has to assume control. She has to think, and she has to take decisions. Yeah, that's uh, yeah. It's as you can see, the more you talk about it, the more ideas you can come up with when it comes to the other side of truth. It's full of ideas, and all the ideas are connected together. You cannot talk about media without talking about truth telling, without talking about the agenda of the author, entertaining as well as instructing. So they are all put together. And the real challenge would be how to separate and how to find focus. Again, you don't get carried away with the sheer volume of information that you have and you write everything. No, you have to be highly selective, and your selectivity will depend on the focus on also the priorities of the question asked. I think we have time for people to come and ask questions before we call it a day. Sam, hi. See, Sam. Yeah, I know that she is at work, like lots of you, I know, and I appreciate the fact that you're here in spite of all of that, but that's fine. If you guys have any questions, come to the mic. before we call it a day. Yeah, Wissam. Yeah. Yeah, if I know if you cannot talk, that's fine. If you have any questions, just write them in the chat.
Doctor,
Yeah, Noor, go ahead.
I have a concern regarding the final, not the novel. Should I ask?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, when in the compulsory part, so it's gonna be a question about the two novels, not about the picture books, right?
The compulsory part, yeah, normally, yeah, it is about the novels, yes.
Okay, great. طيب, what about our quiz 2 grades? Are you happy with it?
So far, so good, yeah. Yeah, yeah. From what I have seen, yeah, يعني, يعني most of what I have seen, يعني are doing a good job. Yeah, we're moving, يعني we're I think we're progressing from, you know, because some of you I have already taught final. I mean, you're alhamdulillah, you're progressing, and this is something that I'm happy about. Um, Hopefully, inshallah, we still have 50 marks in the final, and inshallah, you will focus on these three principles that I keep telling you about, and you have them materialized in the final exam in your choices of in your choice of questions, and then also in approaching questions, comprehensiveness, clarity, and relevance. Yeah, I understand, yeah, Wissam. Wissam is saying that she cannot talk because she is at work, and she doesn't have any questions at the moment. That's fine. Um, Hind, would you like to come and share something with us? If you have a concern, if you have يعني pretty much anyone, I mean, Hind and all the other people, Maria, for example, Maria Saleh. Mm.
Yes, doctor, I have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
question
go
and
ahead,
concern.
Maria. Yeah,
Sadie, she didn't face the bullies like face to face, right? She
she
didn't
didn't.
yes, she didn't defend herself or something like that. She
Um,
just tell the
when it,
news.
yeah, when it comes to if you're a refugee and then you normally deal with immigration officers. You don't deal with the police directly. Obviously, immigration officers are part of the police department. She did have occasions where she was asked questions about her father, about her legal status, and all those kinds of things. Mm.
So
Maria, does
yes,
this answer? Yeah,
no, I mean the bullies, the
the
bulliers,
bullies. Yeah,
like
yeah,
America. Yes,
yeah.
she
Why?
didn't face them, right? So when they ask about the question in the final, how did
Mm.
she like fight these bullies? I wouldn't say anything like she like fight them with courageous or brave. She just
Yeah, she
stay
she
silent,
she
right?
handled them. She handled them. Handling something means that you know how to handle. Sometimes you're silent, sometimes you fight back. Okay, she knew how to handle them. This is what we're trying to say, and this is perhaps the difference between her and her father. And she's even more mature than her father when it comes to treating her enemies. She knows how to accept what they say, but she has a strategy in mind. So I will accept what they say at this moment because otherwise it can affect my brother, for example. See? So what we like about Shade is that she's very smart and she knows when and how to react, whether we're talking about bullying, whether immigration officers, taking the cause to the media. Again, she is courageous all the same. She is very serious, and yeah, she, yeah. Again, if you compare her to her parents, I mean, her parents would be reckless and compared to her, as compared to her.
Yes, thank you so much, Doctor.
You're welcome, Marie. You're welcome. Any more questions? Anyone and everyone? Bye. Now we're meeting again, inshallah. We still have time. We're meeting in the regular classes, and we're also meeting in the um, master class. When we meet again next time, we're doing the 2 picture books, inshallah. Better be prepared, read the secondary sources because they can give you insights and ideas that you can share with us here. But on this note and with this item, we come to the end of this lovely meeting today. We're April 24th, of course, and we still have like 1 more week before the final. Is it a week or perhaps 10 days or حاجة? Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Bye bye.
Thank you, Doctor, so much.
The recording is on, Wissam is asking about the recording of Monday's class. It is here, yeah. It is on the other link. And go to the chat of the other link, the regular class link, you will find it. And I don't know, I think I forgot to upload it on YouTube. I'll upload it and I'll share it on the WhatsApp group, inshallah. I'll upload it today, inshallah. Yalla, Gama. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Assalamu alaikum. Bye bye.